With Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3 of DLC looking more and more likely to happen with each patch, I'm looking at some of the most wanted characters and analyzing all of their appearances in Dragon Ball to deduce what their moveset could look like. Last time we looked at Dabura, and this time we're looking at the Universe 6 Saiyan Fusion Kefla. Let's start by talking about her intro and victory pose. Every fusion character in the game so far has the intro with the two characters fusing. Be it Potara or the fusion dance, it all starts with the fusion itself. The problem is, Kefla's fusion happens very far in the distance. You know it's happening because they talk about it, but you don't actually see the fusion. You only see some faint lights in the distance representing the Potara. So I wonder if what we'll see is these very far away shots of the fusion, or if they'll actually make up some animation from scratch. Either way, after the two characters fuse, they typically have a powering up animation, or at least that's the way it's been with pretty much all fusion characters, Zamasu being the exception here. Out of all her powering up animations in the show, the moment where she goes Super Saiyan 2 is by far the best one. Even if we don't use her in her Super Saiyan 2 form, but just her regular Super Saiyan, this animation will most likely be part of her intro if she makes it into Season 3 DLC. And then we have her victory pose, which will have to be somewhat made up since Kefla never actually won a fight. She's very confident and cocky, but also a bit clumsy. She's not used to this much power and speed. And I think that really shines through in a couple of moments where she overshoots her target. So I'm thinking her victory pose could be something goofy, something where she tries to show off but can't control her speed, so she ends up stumbling and maybe even falling, similar to how goofy Krillin's intro currently is, and I think that would be her intro and her victory pose. When it comes to punching and kicking, Kefla vs Goku is really underwhelming. Most of its animations aren't very pretty to look at, and Kefla's moves aren't that flashy at all. It's mostly just her standing up with minimal animation work that conveys a lot of speed but doesn't actually give us anything unique as far as moves go. There are some exceptions. This heavy punch, for instance, I could easily see that becoming her 5H, and the double X handle, which could be her jumping 5H, suggesting that maybe Kefla will be the first easy character to learn in a very long time. Lately, the DLC has been nothing but tricky characters, which I love, but, you know, for variety's sake, let's throw a beginner-friendly character in there, and Kefla might just very well be that character. Her normals look very normal. Even her reflect looks normal as hell, which at the end of the day means that most of her normals are gonna have to be either made up or taken from Kale and Caulifla before they fuse, because as Kefla, she's mostly about ki blasts and supers, and you can't make a character moveset with punches and kicks that just look like this. But you do get a feel for the character. She's fast, she attacks with speed, suggesting that maybe her buttons will have multiple hits to convey that same speed. And with how agile this character is, I'd be surprised if she didn't have a low 2L. But ki blast wise, we have a lot to work with. The first ki blast she throws, she really throws it at the opponent. She doesn't simply shoot out the ki blast, she throws it. But then later on the same episode, she has a clash of ki blasts with Goku, suggesting that she'll not only be able to throw her ki blasts, but also rapid fire them. So we could see thrown ki blasts in the air, similar to base Vegeta, and then on the ground, she'd be able to rapid fire them without even moving her hands. But even if they don't go this specific route, it's safe to assume that Kefla will have ki blasts. That is, if she makes it into the game. Moving on to her potential special attacks, we're gonna keep it very simple with only 3 specials, but these 3 specials seem really strong. First up, there's a dash punch, which could work similar to a lariat type move. Do you remember in the victory screen where I talked about Kefla being too fast for her own good, to the point where she can't control her speed very well? Well, when her fight against Goku starts, she shoots straight past him, and then the following episode, she starts to grasp her own speed and is able to dash in and punch. Now, she punches the ground because Goku dodged, but she definitely gets a hold of her speed. So Kefla could have a lariat type move that could be a fake out and just whiff for a free cross-up, as if she was going too fast and wasn't able to control her own speed. So imagine the light attack version is a normal lariat, it's the one where she punches the ground, but then the heavy attack version causes her to whiff it and go past the enemy character. That would be a great way to make her personality shine through her own moveset while giving her a very powerful tool to use in battle. Her second special attack is nothing more, nothing less than a command grab. More specifically, the part where she grabs Goku and starts spinning him around. This is definitely not a move that Kefla made up, it's been seen before in Dragon Ball, but with such a short time in Dragon Ball animation, this quickly became one of the highlights of her fight. In her base form, she was able to pick up and throw Super Saiyan God Goku in one of the best animated scenes of her entire fight, so I think it's definitely something to remember Kefla by. But as I mentioned earlier, Kefla is mostly about ki blast, so we can't wrap this up without a ki blast special. Outside of the basic ki blast that we talked about earlier, Kefla also throws this bigger ki blast at Goku. After that fails to hit, she summons 2 Ki Blasts and then goes a step further and uses those 2 Ki Blasts as a distraction, only so she could vanish and kick Goku right in the face. I'm about to make all 3 of these moments into a single special attack. You ready? Let's say quadricycle forward and a special attack button. Kefla throws the bigger Ki Blast. It has beam priority, it's thrown horizontally, it's a great neutral tool. Then, if you hold the special attack button, she throws a second Ki Blast. This is to bait super dash punishes. You know when people jump over your beam and super dash to punish you? This would be a natural counter to that strategy. And then, if these 2 Ki Blasts hit or get blocked, then Kefla will automatically teleport and try to kick you from behind. Similar to how Gogeta works now with his multiplex after image, if it lands or if it's blocked, Gogeta does a dive kick automatically. But instead of a dive kick here, we're talking about a kick that comes from the opposite side. And just like that, Kefla now has 3 very powerful special attacks with a lariat that can be faked out, a command grab, and some high priority projectiles. The simplicity of only having 3 specials complements what I was saying earlier about this being a beginner friendly character. But also the 3 specials are powerful, so she could end up being used by even the pros themselves. But for now, let's move on to her supers. She really likes her Ki Blasts, so her supers are also gonna have a lot of blasting around. Her first level 1 is 6 of those Ki Blasts, just like the previous move we talked about, but instead of the 2 blasts, it's now 6. Just more powerful. It's a simple projectile super, it's flashy, there's not much else to it. It's a bunch of projectiles. Her next super happens once she goes Super Saiyan 2. Her Ki Blasts become red and she gathers a bunch of small blasts. After gathering them, she starts spinning them into this disc-shaped form. I feel I could blow away an entire universe in one shot, is what she says at this moment, before she wraps that energy around her fist and dashes straight at Goku, ready to blow him away. Though at this point, Goku has activated Ultra Instinct, so you know nothing's gonna hit him. But yeah, it's basically a dashing super that deals the damage once the fist connects with the face. So first we had some Ki Blasts that could be thrown as projectiles, and now we have energy wrapped around her fist, which is used as a melee dash attack. So both of these could be level 1 supers in my opinion, and could be used in different situations, a bit like how Bardock throws a projectile super or hits you with his own fists. Finally, her level 3 super, this is the last move that Kefla pulls off before she's defeated by Ultra Instinct. Kefla builds up so much energy that the energy itself starts to cut through everything, almost like a laser beam. She's able to control these lasers and aim them, but once she powers up, there are also a lot of Ki Blasts just shooting across the entire area. This super is very erratic. I could easily see it becoming a full screen super, hitting anyone on stage who isn't blocking. But the super doesn't end there. If you keep holding down the button, you might be able to go into a level 5 super, where all that energy is compressed into this double beam attack that completely obliterates everything in its path, giving Kefla a total of 4 supers, 2 level 1s, a level 3, and a level 5. And I think that's pretty good for someone who's only been in 3 Dragon Ball episodes. So to summarize, her intro will have Kale and Caulifla fuse and become Kefla, who powers up and is ready to fight. And her victory screen will be something goofy, because she tried to show off with a power she couldn't fully control yet. Her normals will be fast, she lands many hits in a short amount of time, so it's possible we'll see multiple hits per button press, though she might be a basic character, nothing too tricky. As far as Ki Blasts go, she throws them real hard in the air and has a flurry on the ground. She has 3 special attacks, a lariat that can be faked out, a command grab, and a high priority projectile with 3 different variants. Finally, she has 4 supers, a projectile level 1, a dash level 1, and an erratic level 3 that can be upgraded into a level 5 beam. And that's the moveset prediction for Kefla. Fingers crossed she makes it into Season 3, but are there any moves you'd like to see? Which one of these supers is an absolute must-have for this character? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!